Welcome to the Thornwillow Centennial reading of Ulysses. We are celebrating James Joyce's literary masterpiece by presenting the entire novel through a tapestry of hundreds of video clips that unite readers across the world. Thank you for joining us. And now, continuing episode 18, Penelope, with Suzanne Jeffers, reading from Hollywood, Counting Down, Ireland.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Jeffers, and I'm reading to you today from Hollywood and County Down, Northern Ireland. Free from train, somewhere, whistling. The strength of those engines have in them, like big giants, and the water rolling all over and out of them. All sides, like the end of Love's Old Sweet Song. The poor men that have to be out in all night in them from their wives and families, in those roasting engines. Stifling it was today. I'm glad I burned the half of those old Freemans and photo bits, leaving things like that lying around. He's getting very careless. And threw the rest of them up in the WC. I'll get him to cut them tomorrow for me instead of having them there for the next year, to get a few pence for them. Have him asking where last January's paper and all those overcoats I bundled out of the hall, making the place hotter than it is. The rain was lovely, just after my beauty sleep. I thought it was going to get like Gibraltar. My goodness, the heat there before the Levanter came on, black as night, and the glare of the rock standing up in it like a big giant. Compared with their three-rock mountain, they think it's so great, with the red sentries here and all the poplars and all the white hot and the mosquito nets and the smell of the rainwater in those tanks, watching the sun all the time weltering down on you, faded. All that lovely frock father's friend Mrs. Stanhope sent me from the Bee Marché, Paris. What a shame. My dearest doggerina, she wrote, on what she was very nice. What's this her other name was? Just a PC to tell you. I sent the little present, have just a jolly warm bath, and feel a very clean dog now. Enjoyed it. Wogger, she called him. Wogger would give anything to be back in Gib and hear you sing in the old Madrid or wedding. Concon is the name of those exercises he bought me. One of those new, some word I couldn't make out, shawls, amusing things. But tear for the least thing here, still lovely. I think, don't you? We'll always think of the lovely teas we had together. Scrumptious currant scones, raspberry wafers. I adore. Well, now, dearest doggerina, be sure and write soon, kind. She left out regards to your father, also Captain Grove. With love, yes, awfully, XXXX. She didn't look a bit married, just like a girl. He was 10 years older than her, Wogger. He was awfully fond of me when he held me down to the wire with his foot to step over at the bullfight in Lalena. When that matador Gomez was given the bull's ear, clothes we have to wear, whoever invented them, expecting you to walk up Killiney Hill then, for example, at a picnic, all stayed up. You can't do a blessed thing for them in a crowd or run and jump out of the way. That's why I was afraid when the other ferocious old bull began to charge at the bandoleros, with the sashes and the two things in their hats and the brutes of men shouting, "Bravo, Toro!" Sure, the women were as bad in their nice white mantillas, ripping all the old insides out of the poor horses. I've never heard of such a thing in all my life. Yes, he used to break his heart at me taking off the dog barking in Bell Lane. Poor brute, and it was sick. What became of them ever, I suppose? They're dead long ago, the two of them. It's like through all the mist it makes you feel so old. I made the scones, of course. I had everything all to myself then. A girl, Hester, we used to compare our hair. Mine was thicker than hers. She showed me how to settle it at the back when I put it up. And what else is this? How to make a knot on a thread. With one hand, we were like cousins. What age was I then? The night of the storm I slept in her bed. She had the arms around me, and then we were fighting in the morning with the pillow. What fun. He was watching me, whenever he got an opportunity, at the band on the Alameda Esplanade, when I was with Father and Captain Grove. I looked up at the church first, and then at the windows, then down. Our eyes met. I felt something go through me like all needles. My eyes were dancing, I remember after, when I looked at myself in the glass, hardly recognised myself, the change. I had a splendid skin from the sun and the excitement like a rose. I didn't get a wink of sleep. It wouldn't have been nice on account of her, but I could have stopped it in time. She gave me the Moonstone to read. That was the first I read of Wilkie Collins. East Lynne. I read The Shadow of Ashy Diet. Mrs. Henry Wood, Henry Dunbar. By that other woman I lent him afterwards, with Mulvaney's photo in it, so as he could see I wasn't without. And Lord Lytton, Eugene Aram, Molly Bawn. She gave me by Mrs. Hungerford on account of the name. I don't like books with the Molly in them, like the one he bought me from the one from Flanders. A whore, always shoplifting anything she could, cloth and stuff, of yards of it. This blanket is too heavy on me. That's better. I haven't even one decent nightdress. This thing gets all rolled up under me, besides him and fulling. That's better. I used to be weltering. Then in the heat my shift drenched, with the sweat and stuck in the cheeks of my bottom on the chair when I stood up. They were so fattish and firm when I got up on the sofa cushions to see with my clothes up, and the bugs, tons of them at night, and the mosquito nets. I couldn't read a line. Lord, how long ago. Seems centuries, of course. They never come back, and she didn't put her address on it either. She may have noticed her Wogger people were always going away, and we never. I remember that day, with the waves and the boats, with their high heads rocking in the swell of the ship. Those officers' uniform on shore leave made me sick. He didn't say anything, he was very serious. I had the high-buttoned boots on, my skirt was blowing. She kissed me 6 or 7 times. Didn't I cry? Yes, I believe I did. Or near it. My lips were tettering when I said goodbye. She had a gorgeous wrap of some special blue colour on her for the voyage, made very peculiarly on one side like, and it was extremely pretty. It got as dull as the devil after they went. I was almost planning to run away mad out of it somewhere. We're never easy. Where are our father or aunt or marriage, waiting, always waiting, to guide him to me? Waiting, nor speed, his flying feet, their damn guns bursting and booming all over the shop, especially the Queen's birthday, and throwing everything down in all directions. If he didn't open the windows when General Ulysses Grant, whoever he was or did, supposed to be some great fellow, landed off a ship of old Sprague. The consul that was from there before the flood, dressed up. Poor man, and he mourning for the sun. Then some old reveille in the morning, and drums rolling, and the unfortunate poor devils of soldiers walking about with mess tins, smelling the place more than the long old bearded Jews and their jelly bees and their Levites assembly, and sound and clear and gunfire for the men to cross the lines, and the warden marching with his keys to lock the gates and the bagpipes, and only Captain Groves and father talking about Rorke's Drift, Plevna, and Sir Garnet Wolseley and Gordon Khartoum, lighting their pipes from every time they went out. Drunken old devil with his grog on the windowsill, catch him leaving any of it, picking his nose, trying to think of some dirty other story to tell him up in the corner. But he never forgot himself when I was there, sending me out of the room on some blind excuse, paying his compliments, the Bushmills whiskey talking, of course. But he'd do the same to the next woman that came along. I suppose he died of galloping drink ages ago. The days like years, not a letter from a living soul, except the few odd I posted to myself with bits of paper in them, so bored, sometimes I could fight with my nails. Listening to that old Arab, the one eye and his hess of instrument, singing his hey, all my compliments on your hoppapotch of your hess. As bad as now, with the hands hanging off me, looking out of the window, if there was a nice fellow even in the opposite house. That medical in Hall Street. The nurse after, when I put my gloves on and the hat out the window to show I was going out. Not a notion what I meant. Aren't they thick? Never understand what you say. Even you'd want to print it up on a big poster for them. Not even if you shake hands twice with the left. Didn't recognise me either, when I half frowned at him outside Weston Row Chapel. Where does their great intelligence come in, I'd like to know? Grey matter. They have it all in their tail, if you ask me. Those country gargers up in the City Arms. Intelligence. They had a damn sight less than the bills and cars they were selling. The mate in the Coleman's Bell, that noisy bugger trying to swindle me, with the wrong bill he took out of his hat. What a pair of paws. And pots and pans and kettles to mend. Any broken bottles for a poor lady, poor man today. No visitors or post ever, except his cheques or some advertisement. Like that wonder worker they sent him addressed, Dear Madam. Only his letter and the card from Millie this morning. See, she wrote a letter to him. Who did I get the last letter from? Oh, Mrs. Duane. Now whatever possessed her to write after so many years to know the recipe I had for Pisto Madrello? Floey Dillon. Since she wrote to say she was married to a very rich architect. If I'm to believe all I hear, with a villa and 8 rooms. Her father was an awfully nice man. He was near 70, always good humour. Well now, Miss Tweedy or Miss Gillespie, there's the piano that was a silver coffee service. He had 2 on the mahogany sideboard. Then dying so far away. I hate that people always have their poor story to tell. Everybody has their own troubles. That poor Nancy Blake died a month ago of acute pneumonia. Well, I didn't know her so well, as she was all Floey's friend more than mine. It's a bother having to answer. He always tells me the wrong things, and no stops to say, like making a speech. Your sad bereavement, sympathy. I always make that mistake, a nephew with 2 W's. I hope he'll write me a longer letter next time. If it's a thing and he really likes me. Oh, thanks be to the great God. I got somebody to give me what I badly wanted, to put some heart up into me. You've no chances at all in this place like you used long ago. I wish somebody would write me a love letter. His wasn't much. I told him he could write what he liked. Yours ever, Hugh Boylan. In old Madrid, city women believe love is sighing, and I'm dying. Still, if he wrote it, I suppose there'd be some truth in it. True or no, it fills up your whole day. And life always something to think about. Every moment, and see it all around you. Like a new world. I could write the answer in bed to let him imagine me. Short, just a few words. Not those long cross letters Addie Dillon used to write to the fellow that was something in the forecourts that jilted her after. Out of the lady's letter writer. When I told her to say a few simple words, he could twist how he liked. Not acting, with precipitancy, with equal candour. The greatest earthly happiness answer to a gentleman's proposal, affirmatively. My goodness, there's nothing else. It's all very fine for them. But, as for being a woman, as soon as you're old, they might as well throw you out in the bottom of the ash pit.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of The Colophon and our Centennial reading of Ulysses from Thornwillow Press. Be sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and please consider supporting us by visiting our website, www.thornwillow.com. Your help makes this and all our endeavors possible.